It's hard to believe that after tonight, we'll officially be passing the halfway marker of another high school football season, but that only means the storylines, drama, and on-field action goes up as teams begin to understand the stakes of every single game played. We've got all the can't-miss highlights from Week 5 of the high school football season right now. Let's kick things off out west.
Hey, here we go. That's on 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice.
Knights brought the juice, but they need a tanker of it taking on undefeated Glacier High School, and this is why Sacramento State-bound quarterback Jackson Presley fakes out myself and the entire defense on the read. Glacier's up 7 before the fans could get their hot cocoa from concessions, but the Wolfpack ensure that everyone sees this. Next drive, Asher Kanopik breaks 3 tackles at the line, and that man is off to the races, adding another touchdown, number 10 to his 2025 resume. And why take your foot off the gas? Presley, not to be upstaged by his running backs, keeps it himself again, follows his blockers, and lets his speed do the rest as he goes untouched into the end zone. And just before half, guess who? Presley again. Presley scores 5 total touchdowns on the night, and the Wolfpack pick up the 45-0 win to remain unbeaten on the season. And now it's time for a game of the week caliber matchup in Class B. The top spot in the West on the line is Anaconda looks to topple Lions of Eureka. Lions gets the first dibs and march down the gridiron. Josh Lambertson punches it in. 7-zip visitors. Copperhead seeking to equalize. Travis Dye with the prayer on 3rd and long, but Tice Van Orden leaps to the stratosphere for the INT, and the Lions capitalize. Rogan Lytle showing he's no lightweight. Short burst for the score. More Lytle lights incoming. Shifty moves and a stiff arm sets the Lions up in plus territory, and he'll conclude the drive with the sneak. 20-0 at the break. Eureka looking for more, but what a defensive play. A cromulent pass break up from T. Cromwell. Copperheads force a punt, and here comes Travis Dye, the superstar senior, rumbles and bumbles and finesses his way into enemy territory. 4th and long for Anaconda. Dye finds Brody Gailey in traffic, and the home team is in a rhythm. Drive comes to an abrupt end with a red zone fumble pounced on by the Lions. A few plays later, a Lytle lollipop finds a waiting Van Orden. 35-yard score, and Eureka makes a serious statement with the 26-0 win.
Kenzie Valentine here at Whitefish High School with a special edition of Friday Night Lights. It is homecoming week here for the Bulldogs facing their opponent Ronan Chiefs. And safe to say there's a bunch of celebration happening tonight. Let's take a look. It all started with a long rush from QB Luke Dallin, setting up the Bulldogs in the red zone. Dallin decides to keep it again for himself, pushes his own teammate in the back, and scores the opening touchdown. Cooper Aki had himself a game tonight. He jumps high and it's intercepted. Dallin finds Aki again out wide. He breaks a tackle, runs all the way down the sideline for a touchdown right after his own interception. Would you look at that? Another pick 6. Jordan Harmon runs it back for a touchdown. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Vlad Shostak receives the punt return, gets a break, escapes a tackle, and finds the end zone for a touchdown. Final score tonight in Whitefish, Ronan 0, Whitefish 65.
All right, thanks, Kenzie. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more action from the gridiron. But first, let's take a look at some statewide scoreboards.
Big Sky
Big Sky Friday nights, we'll be jumping right back into things with our game of the week, a crosstown classic between Bozeman and Gallatin High School. That's where we find NBC Montana's Tommy Rooney standby live from Van Winkle Stadium. Tommy, Raptors and Hawks is always can't miss stuff. I know you always bring the hype, but did the atmosphere live up to the hype tonight?
Absolutely, Alex. Van Winkle was rocking tonight. Both student sections made sure that neither side had a home field advantage, but there could only be one winner. Let's take a look.
If we could play dramatic music, this would be the time. It's the Battle of Bozeman, two rivals facing off to decide who really calls Van Winkle Stadium home. Hawks quarterback Van Shockley is picked off by Hudson White on Bozeman's first possession of the night, but then Tyson Shield powers his way into the end zone for the first score of the night to put Gallatin up 7-0. The following possession for Bozeman, and Shockley rolls out to his right, trying to find someone open, and he is stripped by Luke Jenkins, recovered by Diesel Zoller. And if you're someone who loves turnovers, this was a beautiful game for you to watch as Sam Litzen's pass is off the hands of Bobby Gutzman and into the hands of Walker Rudell. Bozeman wouldn't capitalize on that turnover, but how about this one? Tyson Shield has the ball knocked free, and the Hawks get another chance before halftime. After a methodical drive, Van Shockley takes it in to tie this thing at 7-7 with just 15 seconds left in the half.
Gallatin would go on to win 23-16 on a Carter Dalkey game-winning touchdown for the second straight year against Bozeman. Gallatin moves on to 5-0, while Bozeman falls to 3-2.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Let's keep things down south where another big matchup on the Class B stage unfolded tonight. We got a clash of the big cats as the Columbus Cougars come into the jungle to take on the Manhattan Tigers on Manhattan's first drive. It's fourth down in Columbus territory, and head coach Wes Kraut channels his inner Dan Campbell and decides to go for it, and the connection between quarterback Tyson Pavlik to Matthew Fenno moves the chains to give the Tigers the clutch first down. Big call from Coach Kraut there. That fourth down conversion would lead to this Pavlik QB sneak to give Manhattan the early lead, and the Tigers went for two to make the score 8-0. Heading into the second quarter, both teams are struggling to get their offenses going, but Manhattan's Tyson Meach brings the Tigers back to life with this huge INT, just what the doctor ordered to swing the momentum as Pavlik loads up the deep ball and finds Braden Zickman, who makes the adjustment to come down with the big catch and fights for those extra yards to bring the Tigers into the red zone. And the catch from Zickman would lead to another Pavlik tutty to extend Manhattan's lead to 16-0. And that was the juice the Tigers needed to get the dub to stay undefeated by a final 37-0. And when we come back, it's time to find our next top 3 Play of the Week candidates. But first, let's check in on some more statewide scoreboards.
Welcome to Today. Thanks.
NBC Montana High School Football Play of the Week, sponsored by Republic Services.
Hey, it's not Big Sky Friday night without our weekly Play of the Week competition. We've got our next top 3 plays from another great slate of games coming your way right now. And pay close attention, your vote decides the winner. Let's kick things off with the Wolfpack. Jackson Presley may have scored 5 tutties tonight, but none of them were as cool as Asher Konopik breaking 3 tackles and then saying peace out to the Hellgate defense as he takes it 70 yards for 6. Touchdown number 10 on the year for Konopik. Let's go to a big game in Anaconda where Eureka pitched a shutout, and that's in part thanks to Tice Van Orden stepping in front of the deep ball and getting the INT. Nice work hanging onto the ball through contact. Who says DBs can't catch? We'll end things in Whitefish, where the only thing worse than giving up a safety is giving up the punt return right after the safety. Vlad Shestak doesn't care. He'll return this thing all the way home for the touchdown. You know he's fired up after that one. That's one way to celebrate a homecoming. He's going dancing tonight. They all look like winners to me, so that's why I'm not picking one. That's where you come in. Use the QR code on your screen or head to our sports page on our website at nbcmontana.com to cast your vote. Polls close Thursday.